Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Garden City lovers. Today, it is my great honor to have a famous, let's say, famous businessman from Egypt that will discuss with us about the coffee. Garden City lovers love the coffee. I think everyone like to drink coffee. Or otherwise, we will talk about coffee with Mr. Haytham Hussein. He is the CEO of Villa Sumatra Coffee Company. All right. Since he loves Indonesia, he create a lot of names of his brands with Indonesian name. See, Villa Sumatra. And we talk about it later on. So we welcome Mr. Haytham Hussein.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Garden City lovers. And it's a privilege and an honor to be here today on this podcast, to be given the opportunity to talk more about our journey, about what we do, and why I have chosen Indonesia as my second home and my business base, and hopefully where we're gonna go in the future from there.
The first thing that I discussed earlier with him, that he really fall in love in Indonesia. So you fall in love in Indonesia, all right? So before that, I want to know about yourself first. I mean, your background, perhaps your family, educations, experience. Can you tell me in brief about yourself?
Yes, I'm original Jordanian. I was born and raised in Kuwait, and I moved to Egypt during the Gulf War, and then I moved to the States for a year. And from there, I studied engineering in Egypt, worked in the oil and gas sector in the States, and then I moved to Dubai, where I lived for 13 or 14 years, taking different positions in industrial and oil and gas sectors.
I see.
2018, decided I want to give up this life and actually do something that I love.
Big decision.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a scary one because you have to convince yourself first that you do not belong there, and it's scary because the minute you reach that realization, there's no going back. So it's like diving in the deep end, and you have to swim to the shore, and you don't know if you're gonna make it to the other side or not. So I think this is the biggest challenge that faces.
All right. So the second questions: why do you choose coffee, the first one, and then why you choose the name of Villa Sumatra? Okay. So maybe the Garden City lovers want to know why Mr. Shaukat choose this name.
The answer to the first question, why coffee? Obviously, everybody loves coffee. Well, it's a very general statement, but a lot of people love coffee. And I started growing my passion to coffee in 2011 after visiting Bali for the first time in my life. And I can tell that, it was a different experience to me, tasting a very flavorful coffee, and visit a couple of farmers. And I started to relate coffee to nature. For most of people sitting at home drinking a cup of coffee, they don't even understand what happens, behind the scenes, where the coffee comes from, the process involved, the stories behind it. And as I grew in my professional career, I started to realize coffee is not just a coffee shop. Coffee is world's second traded commodity after oil. And if you talk about it in terms of business and address it from the right angle, it's a very good business. So it's not degrading. It's not taking a step down when you quit oil and gas to go and work in coffee. It only depends from which angle you enter the business.
Interesting.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So there's a lot of money in coffee if you do it right.
See, Garden City lovers, there are a lot of money. There is a lot of money from the coffee. Okay, okay, all right.
But I still love coffee. It's not just for the money.
Okay,
But money is always good.
all right.
The cherry on top.
Okay, I mean your company also participate or take in part to this project of development of the coffee, like yellow coffee, and somehow I mean.
Presence in Indonesia.
Oh.
Okay, our presence in Indonesia is based on our relation with the farmers. So
Okay.
we invested
Indonesian farmers.
Indonesian farmers. Yes, when I say anything I say related to farmers, coffee product, it's all Indonesia. So I think the biggest investment and the biggest success, if we can consider success that we achieved, is being able to build that relation with the farmers, being able to build the trust, being able to develop the local communities, and in return they do support our business significantly.
Okay, so garden city lovers, we have to highlight the keyword here is the farmers. We have to get connections with the farmers.
This is the backbone of our company.
So how long you have in this industry? I mean, how many years in the coffee business? Something.
Well, there isn't a one clear line. I decided I want to be in the coffee business in August 2018.
2018.
Yeah,
All right.
and this is when I landed in Sumatra for the first time and visited the first coffee farm. I can say that I got into the business early 2019 when I sold my first coffee bag.
Okay.
What happened in between was just struggle. Biggest question was, first question was, okay, where do I buy my coffee from? I can see farmers, but I don't know what coffee to buy because I didn't have the experience. Thank to all the farmers I have met.
Okay.
I've been learning a little bit every time I speak to a farmer or visit a farm. So eventually I was able to choose for myself what coffee I want to bring. And then the next question is, how do I bring the coffee from that tree, from the farm, to Egypt?
Okay.
It's like taking a piece of paper and trying to draw the map. Most of people can and usually go to the conventional method is like, okay, but find a trader and the trader is going to give it to you FOB, and then you're going to bring it here, find an import company, and then figure it out.
Okay.
And that's a shortcut.
Yes.
That's a shortcut.
So I mean, I figure out that you face also many challenges in this industry, all right, in this coffee business. But in related to Indonesia, what are the challenges in the business of coffee in terms of your export from Indonesia to Egypt? I mean, what is let's say challenges or obstacles, whatever. I mean.
Regulations wise, we haven't encountered any challenges in Indonesia. Regulations. There was no challenges to export our coffee from Indonesia. But we had logistical challenges.
Logistical challenge, okay.
And it's probably because of where our farmers are located. It's just the terrains, the roads, the capability of the farmers. Until a few months back, my partner, I call her my partner, which is, her name is Linda, out of Aceh. I used to collect all my coffee beans from all around Indonesia and send it to her in Aceh. But containers cannot enter there. And she had to go in person with multiple few trucks to deliver the coffee sacks somewhere next to the port and try to compile the container there. And then we have to do the sampling for the agricultural certificates, and everything is being done randomly. We had to get over that by taking a warehouse in Surabaya.
Really? From
Yes.
Aceh?
From
So
Aceh.
you moved to Surabaya?
Yes, she took a warehouse in Surabaya, and now it's much easier. Maybe cost a little bit extra to send majority of our coffees from Aceh to Surabaya, but eventually have to pay that money when we transport our coffee. So It was a challenge that alhamdulillah we were able to encounter and get over with the help of our partners in Indonesia.
Okay, another question, Mr. Shaukat. No problem. I call you Mr. Shaukat. It's okay.
No problem.
How you see coffee future in Indonesia or in Egypt?
Well, I think the coffee future in Indonesia is very clear. Well, until very recent, yeah.
We talk about the business of coffee.
The market, like last data I have, like from 3 years ago, was Indonesia was the 4th largest producer and the 9th exporter, and that means there's a very competitive local market.
Sure.
There has been lots of changes in the coffee market in the world after the first bite in Brazil, lots of emerging other producers in the world. I don't have the accurate figures, but I think Indonesia took a step up. It's not the 4th producer anymore, maybe much better, and it's a larger exporter. But I think with the right awareness and with the focus on showing the full potential of the Indonesian coffee beans, the quality and the name and the right value of Indonesian coffee beans is getting recognized by the day.
Garden City lovers that the approach to the humans themselves is the way or another way to contact and to see how deep usual relations between businessmen and also let's say the partners in Indonesia. This is good idea, I think, and education also needs. How to educate what the market really needs. Is it right, Mr. Shaukat?
Yes.
So in this term, Mr. Shaukat, if I may ask you if there is any Indonesian partner, Indonesian importer or whatever, Indonesian businessman either or businessman Indonesian traders would like to export the coffee to, let's say, to Egypt. How you can help them?
Very good question, and the answer, they have to come here.
Okay, they have to come here to Egypt. All right.
There is a serious lack of trust when it comes to international trade, and that's the first thing they teach us when we take the international trade courses.
Okay.
The risk taken. Now, if the customer doesn't come to you, at least try to come here. There are lots of opportunities we've seen, for example, the Indonesian pavilion in Food Africa. We've seen lots of these.
Yes.
We just need to have more, and we don't need to see products. We need to see exhibitors. We don't need to see one pavilion with many products. We need to see a coffee trader coming, talk about his coffee beans, giving references, sitting there and cupping and tasting with people. And it's even better if we see 7 or 8 of those. It's not just one guy offering 7 things. That gives the credibility and validity. So people understand what they're buying, whom they're dealing with. And the next thing is, okay, I tried and I visited, I spoke to 7, 8 exhibitors. I can see potential with 2. Now that justifies me buying a ticket and go to Indonesia, because it's expensive, it's not cheap. So, but this is initial investment that has to be made. And I think the problem is neither the exporter nor the importer are willing to make that investment. People are willing to invest in machines, and social media marketing, but they're not really willing to invest in building that.
The issue of trust still, between the between the exporter and importer also need. This is also, I think, another point from Mr. Shaukat we have to be mentioned between the exporter and importer. This is my last question for you. So, Garden City lovers, we have a lot of points, a lot of lesson to learn from Mr. Haytham Shaukat. in your, do you have any advice, suggestions to any maybe any Egyptian businessman or even Indonesian businessman to conduct a business with Egypt or in Egypt, or in the Middle East? Maybe you have some advice for them how to deal a business with Indonesia, so to be success, for example.
Yes, I think the best advice I can give to anyone in Egypt or Middle East wanting to conduct business in Indonesia is don't settle for what's being offered. There's much more.
Okay.
Now, the word Sumatra in the ancient Indian language means the land of treasures.
Okay.
And when you think about what Indonesia has to offer, there's much more than what you see on the surface. Until last year, no one knew in Egypt that Indonesia has vanilla. Today, we're probably the second largest, if not the only, vanilla source in Egypt, vanilla beans. And from talking to the artisanal pastry chefs, having tried this vanilla, it's superior to what they used before from other regions that were considered top in the world. Now, so and when you think about it, the aroma, and you have to add the know-how to that to choose the right vanilla. And we're talking about an item that no one would have thought we can get vanilla from Indonesia. Cocoa beans, for example.
See, Indonesia lovers vanilla,
cocoa beans, teas, herbs, spices. We get a lot of Indonesian spices here.
All right.
But having tried the spices that I get from the farmers, not the commercial thing, it is superior. Like no one, we talk about cardamom, when people used to the bitterness of the cardamom and they use it for certain dishes. We have some sweet cardamom. People love to eat it in carrot cake and use it in their herbal drinks. So my advice is don't settle for what's being offered. Always ask for more, because there's always more Indonesia has to offer.
I see. It's really good point from Mr. Haytham Shaukat Hussein. Thank you very much, Mr. Shaukat, for being here today. So I believe that Garden City lovers will have some, enlightenment from our podcast today. So thank you very much again for your coming. Inshallah, I hope that first of all, bilateral trade between Egypt and Indonesia will see a growth again and again. And also, I do believe that also your business in coffee also will produce more Indonesian, not only coffee, maybe another product from Indonesia. So this is, I hope this thing will become succeed through your cold hands. Thank you very much, Mr. Haytham Shaukat Hussein, the CEO of Villa Sumatra Coffee Company, and this is the end of our Garden City podcast. Thank you very much. See you again.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Syukran. Thank you.